69 to 76. More wind and rain from the storm Wednesday morning. Cloudy and breezy in the afternoon with thunderstorm in spots and a high of 83 to 88. Very cloudy Thursday, thunderstorms in the afternoon. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala.
Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well.
Now, here's your host, Tom.
I'm sorry you left, but I'm even better that even happier that you're back.
Well, there you go. Hey, got to talk about this pending storm off the coast of Florida. It's just east, just 50 miles from Key West. The Marion County Sheriff's Office is advising that people that live in the western part of this county, in particular, to prep for Tropical Storm Elsa. Its effects will be felt tonight and tomorrow morning. Governor DeSantis has already announced he's declared a state of emergency in a number of counties, including Marion County. The Sheriff's Office encouraged West Marion residents who live in RVs or manufactured housing to seek shelter at site-built homes. Officials said Marion could get 2 to 6 inches of rain. They also indicated that people with medical oxygen should make preparations in case of power outages. If you need any more information, the Marion County Emergency Management will open the Citizens Information Line. It opened at 8 a.m. today, about 7 minutes ago. That number is 369-7500. SECO sent out a news release warning members to prepare for heavy rain starting later this afternoon. The area along I-75 and west to the Gulf Coast, they're likely going to feel the most impact. The wind speed is forecast to be sustained in our area at about 20 miles an hour with wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Now, keep in mind, the ground's already soaked. So this could create trees that fall easier because of the rainy June and could be prolonged power outages. So my question, Galen, have you paid much attention to Elsa because of Life South and everything? Or is it one of these that you're like, it doesn't even look like it's going to be as bad as an afternoon storm?
Well, we have to take every one of these storms, and whether it's such a huge factor in what we do, whether the way we move blood products around, the way we do our testing and everything, we constantly pay attention to the weather. So, yeah, and it is a big deal. And I'll be honest, I was talking to my wife this weekend. I said the ones that are always scary to me, where they start on the east side of the Caribbean and then swing up and into the Gulf. For whatever reason, those tend to just linger, right? They hang around, and they always seem to hit Central Florida. So, I'm worried about Elsa. I filled up gas cans this weekend, checked the generator this weekend. So that's on a personal level, but for Life South, yeah, we've already had we had a meeting yesterday about it. We'll have a meeting today about it, probably two, just to make sure that we're all on board and that Alabama and Georgia are going to collect more, and then we start shipping blood products and overstock all of our hospitals in the state of Florida, because we may not be able to get to them for 2 days if the tree falls in the right spot, or there's no power, etc.
And 2 days for blood donation is a huge amount of time. I know people say, how long is 3 minutes in radio? And I go, you have no idea how long 3 minutes is in radio. It's an eternity. 2 days in the blood business is an eternity.
Yeah, I mean, right now we only have 1.2 days of O negative in our entire footprint. So going 2 days without collecting an O negative is putting lives in real danger.
And y'all shut, and of course
surgeries.
Of course, you shut the buses down and everything. The blood mobiles and all get shut down during storms, I'm sure.
Well, it just depends on we have a risk assessment. So if it gets to a certain mile an hour of winds, we pull all the buses back. But yeah, I mean it's something we will be paying very, very close attention.
And people. And
think, you're right. The saturation is what's
that's
really
the problem.
Should be concerning. I mean, the ground is absolutely saturated, and then you add a little wind, which we haven't had. If you notice, our storms haven't been really windy; they've just been torrential rain. Now you add, let's say it's a 45-mile-an-hour wind. That's enough to knock over some of these oak trees.
Oh, quick! Or let's say you get a downdraft or a microburst because of this storm.
Right? Sure.
And these water oaks that are the ground's already saturated and their root system's way above the ground anyway. We'll talk to Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin about that later this morning in the garden. But, I mean, it's a real concern. I went out and checked our water. We have 2 big water oaks in the backyard. I went out and walked around the ground. The one on the right side of the backyard, the ground is, not as saturated. The one on the left side where all the water runs off towards the retention pond that the county maintains, it's soup back there. And when I say a water oak, this water oak's probably 35, 40 foot tall. Sure. It would get to the house if it fell. So these are real concerns. The saturation is my concern.
Yeah, I had a tree fall in my house last weekend because the guy clearing it didn't realize how wet the ground was, and it just fell. 2 to
6 inches. They're expecting 2 to 6 more inches. And I'm telling you, I got a front little garden area, flower area in my yard, and it holds water, and it's held water now. I've had to go out and put stuff in the water so the mosquitoes go away because it just won't soak into the ground.
Sure. Yeah, and again, it's going to be wet. It's going to be wet. Traffic will be pretty horrendous. Traffic was really bad yesterday. So, again, this storm, we're not worried about, things flying around. We're just worried about trees falling.
But if you don't need to
By the way, far worse.
Yeah, far worse. Far worse. Well, if you don't need to be out later tonight or early tomorrow morning, do not be out. But WOCA, I will tell you this, Joe Martone and I will be here first thing in the morning giving you updates on what's going on. Power permitting, we are under.
Sure.
We're here at the airport, but we don't suspect that we will lose power here at the airport. It's something that probably won't happen very often here at the airport. So we will be on the air with the latest updates tomorrow. Hopefully Galen will be clear so he can join us as well tomorrow. So stay with WOCA for the latest updates on Tropical Storm Elsa, as it is about 45 miles southeast of the Florida Keys, and expected to come up and then take a hard turn at Tampa and come across the center of the state. The path it's taken, and I know it's not the same size storm, but there's no telling what could happen once it gets back in the open waters of the Gulf, if it gets in the open waters of the Gulf. But I remember in 2004, don't worry about it. Charlie's not that big a deal.
Right.
He's a tropical storm. Right. He just came over Cuba. He's going to just take a meander up through Tampa. It won't be that big a deal. He got back out over the Caribbean. He strengthened to a category 2 or 3. Took a hard left. Took a hard right turn into Punta Gorda. Came up through the center of the state and destroyed the state. And that started our 6 weeks of. That started our 6 weeks of hell.
Right, and if you remember,
He
was
stopped
Charlie
right here.
the one that went backwards.
No,
yeah,
no,
went
Gene.
backwards.
No, Gene went backwards.
Gene went backwards.
Gene
Gene
come
went
up.
backwards.
Gene crossed the state, got out in the Atlantic, and then said,
Yeah.
"No, I like the Gulf better," and came back across the state.
I missed a mobile home. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gene,
And then-
it was Charlie, Francis, Gene, and Irene. Oh, those four storms.
I was working in Maryland at the time, and my wife, who was 7 months pregnant, I left her at home. Yeah, that's not one I'll ever be able to recover.
The only silver lining of that 6 weeks, is if you remember, up until that point in 2004, from about 1998 or 97, remember we had the bad fires in 98 that burned from Jacksonville to Daytona?
Right.
We had been in about a 6-year drought where we were underwatered. We didn't have enough water in our system for about 6 years. So the only silver lining is that series of storms came back, filled lakes back up. I remember Orange Lake was like a dry bed. It filled Orange Lake back up.
Yeah.
Localoosa got water. The prairie, you could literally walk across Payne's Prairie, and it put water back in Payne's Prairie. So the silver lining was it helped us regain the water that we needed. But boy, it was a hellacious 6 weeks, I tell you that. Running from storms, battening down the hatches. Finally, I just said I give up and went to Disney for 2 weeks.
Well, I'm lucky. I'm surprised they were even open. But,
They were. Disney.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Disney was open because people forget that Disney's always open because people who live in other countries or live in other states, they just can't jump on an airplane and abandon, they can't. So Disney has underground electricity and everything. So we never lost TV. I literally woke up at like 3 a.m. when Irene was coming through, and I looked out and there were pine trees snapping, just pop, 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 all around. We were staying at Coronado Springs, and there were pine trees just popping everywhere. And I go, well, that'll be a mess in the morning. I woke up, I went back to sleep, woke up about 8:30, looked out the door. You could not even tell there'd been a hurricane. The trees you could see they had piled them up. They were cut up and everything, but they were not strewn. That Disney group got together and went to cutting trees and everything. They cleared pathways. The only problem was for 2 days the parks were closed, so we were stuck in the lobbies and in the bars and the restaurants of that hotel. Oh. It was worse than a screaming kid on Sunday in church.
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah, Coronado Springs lobby and restaurant. Yeah, sitting there.
Wasn't good, brother.
Brutal.
Wasn't good.
When everybody else in Ocala had no power.
No power.
And it was so humid. Yeah, I remember I couldn't even come home. I remember I was like, well, I can't even get home.
But Elsa,
so I'll just stay in Baltimore.
Elsa reminds me a lot of Charlie. Because Charlie come over
Absolutely.
Cuba. Charlie come over Cuba and was a tropical storm that nobody thought was going to amount to much. And then Charlie...
It's already killed 2 people.
Well, Charlie leveled Punta Gorda. I mean, North Charlotte, it come right up through Charlotte Harbor, North Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel Island. Hey,
I think they still have FEMA trailers in Punta Gorda.
They do. They most certainly do.
From that storm.
Yeah.
From that storm.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
The guy who I used to do radio with here, Buddy Martin, was working at the Charlotte newspaper down in Charlotte County. And they had to go, because the Charlotte County newspaper had been destroyed, the offices had been beat up and everything. They went that the evening, after the storm cleared, they went that evening, put a paper together at another paper dispensary up north of Punta Gorda, put it out in Punta Gorda. Everybody was able to get the news. The paper didn't miss a day, and they were they were a finalist for a Pulitzer because of that, and they finished second. You know what they lost to?
No idea.
Anthony Weiner's Weiner. No, they didn't lose to Anthony Weiner's Weiner. They lost to the New Jersey governor coming out as gay. That's what they lost to. Yeah. Anthony Weiner, and then it was like 3rd or 4th in that. And they were second to Pulitzer about a hurricane that had destroyed Florida. First one to hit Florida that bad in who knows how long. And they lost to the New Jersey governor saying, well, I'm coming out of the closet.
Again, just tells you where our
we're at, doesn't it? And that was 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from the people who sponsor this show, Palm Garden, Penn Flooring, and Just Ship. We'll be right back after this short timeout. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmidt.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Tuesday. Galen Enoff from Life South on the phone with us, brought to you by the folks at Penn Flooring, Palm Garden, and Just Shipped. Galen, I want to get into something in the second half of the conversation with you, but right now I want to talk to you about the perils of fireworks. I'm a big fan of fireworks. I like going to big fireworks displays, but I'm also a person that thinks professionals should probably handle the fireworks. And there was a time in my life where I was the guy that was out there with the mortars and, throwing them up in the air instead of dropping them into the canister and everything like a big dummy. And then I visibly saw one of my friends, who is a great sports writer, a great guy, worked for Gator Country. He wrote for the Palm Beach Post for a while. I saw my friend Justin blow almost an entire finger off his hand one night in a parking lot at a bar we were at, being stupid and drinking and throwing fireworks. And I was like, you probably should never do that again, being that you were just doing that and it didn't blow your hand off, but it blew his hand off the next time. So I've kind of shied away from any kind of mortar. I'll go to neighbors if they're shooting them off, but I keep a good distance and make sure that there's something that I could barricade myself behind if a mortar gets knocked sideways or something. And the reason I say this is, John Pierre Paul for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New York Giants, blew three of his fingers off and almost cost him his NFL career. And now we find out that a backup Blue Jacket goalie, Matisse Kevalinsky, 24, died after he took a mortar to the chest while he was trying to get out of the way of it as one of the mortar containers bent over sideways, and he was in a hot tub, took the mortar to the chest and died. I mean, these fireworks are dangerous business.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They most certainly are. But first of all, it's a young man's game because their reflexes are a little quicker.
Well, he was 24. Doesn't seem like it.
Well, that I guess the tube just bent and nobody, it bent once the mortar was in there and it just aimed right at him and boom. That's just your time to go. That is bad luck. I don't know. That's terrible. But I find that. At this point, I think other people should buy fireworks if they want to buy fireworks. I don't shoot them off anymore. I'm past that in my life. So Yeah, and now, you only get the big ones, right? You go in there and you say, I want the 50 grams or whatever, and you don't buy anything other than that. Nobody wants a smoking snake.
Yeah, nobody wants
So-
nobody wants the Roman candle. Nobody wants that anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody
and
wants
I
the
will tell you,
sparkler.
those sparklers are far more dangerous than anything else. You're giving
It's
a
metal
3-year-old,
slag. It's metal slag just flying everywhere.
basically, here, play with this.
Here,
Oh my gosh!
Here's a torch for the leaves and pine straw.
Correct. Well, it's in their hands, in their body, in
yeah.
their clothes. Because guess what? Kids are fairly dumb.
Yeah, let the slags fly all over your shirt and start burning holes in your shirt and singeing your skin. Go ahead, sure. Write your name with it. Go ahead, sure, yeah.
But at the same time, if people want to shoot off fireworks, they can. I've done it all. I've done the firework. I've done everything to fireworks.
Oh, I signed the paper.
Pipes.
I signed the paper saying
know.
that I was going to scare birds. I did it. I know.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, but so I don't like anything really to be outlawed where it's a personal decision like that. But I will say, if you shoot off fireworks and it causes somebody else's harm or harm to their house, well, you're liable. I think there's
I agree
that, but
100%. And here's the thing: I'm not saying outlaw fireworks. I'm just saying that you see something like this one of the busiest days of the year for EMT and paramedics and all is 4th of July and New Year's, and it's from people, houses catching on fire because stuff lands on roofs. They don't prepare. They don't get far enough away from tree lines or something, or they blow their hands off, and it's
just like everything else. You mix alcohol in anything, right? It's a deadly recipe.
Well, it is.
And so what happens on, July 4th? People are day drinking. They've been drinking out at the lake all day, and then they shoot off fireworks, and bad things happen.
By the way, I'm guilty of it. Look, if I'd on 4th of July on Sunday, if truth be told, the good practicing Catholic I was, I went to church, did communion and everything, went home, did a little yard work, and then popped open a Miller Lite about 1:30, and by the time fireworks got shot off at about 9:30, I was pretty sauced up. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I was asleep. So,
and then we did find out one of our 4 dogs, which we did not know. One of our 4 dogs, usually at New Year's it wasn't that big a deal, but there wasn't a whole lot of people in our neighborhood at New Year's shooting off fireworks. This year it sounded like we were, in Kabul or something, the way it was going off.
Sure.
And we found out that one of our dogs, not real happy. And he's the biggest dog. But we gave him, we had for another dog that we have that has nervous conditions, he has doggy Valium. So we gave doggy Valium to the big dog.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Then all of a sudden it wasn't a problem again. So, but that's a big problem around here, especially with the fireworks and the horses and everything. I would think that there's a lot of people that are not happy with some of the fireworks, because I hear stories about how they have to turn out $1 million horses because they can't keep them in stalls because they'll beat themselves to death in the stalls. So they let them run, and still they'll run through gates and have fences and stuff. So, it's just, we live in a different area, and I'm not saying that, we should outlaw fireworks. If you got beaver dams or you need to scare off birds in your yard, that's your right to do so. I understand that, but it just seems like every year you hear of another tragic accident where somebody gets hurt or somebody gets killed. And this is another one of those instances where it happens to be an NHL player who lost his life at 24 years old. He's no longer with us as he took a mortar to the chest at a party in Nova, Michigan over the weekend on 4th of July. So just sad, tragic story. That was my only point.
Did you watch any of the hockey last night?
I did not. I was watching.
We haven't talked baseball in a long time.
I was watching my Atlanta Braves. I was watching my Atlanta Braves take on a team with only 30 wins, and Atlanta's horrible. They're just terrible.
They are.
They had 4 hits all game.
The best team in baseball.
By the way, 4 hits. 4 hits all game.
Yeah.
2 by Acuna, two by Freddie Freeman.
Correct.
So your 1 and 2 hitters got 2 hits each, and that was it. That's all you got. That's it.
The Red Sox won again. They won 9 of 10.
Yes, the Red Sox are very good. Red Sox are very good. Coming up next.
Best record in baseball.
Coming up next.